Welcome to the class. Let's talk about duties and rights of bailor. This is the second video in the series of contract of bailment. Okay, let's see what are the duties of bailor according to Indian Contract Act. Yes, duties of bailor. There are different duties attached to bailor and bailee according to the Indian Contract Act, and generally the duties of bailor are the rights of bailee, because there are only two parties in a contract of bailment, bailor and bailee. Therefore, generally duties of bailor are rights of bailee and rights of bailor are duties of bailee. Okay, so therefore let's see what are the duties of bailor. The first and the foremost duty of a bailor is to disclose whatever problems the goods which he is bailing have. That means when a bailor is transferring the possession of goods to bailee, he must inform whatever he knows about the goods. This duty varies depending on whether the bailment is a gratuitous bailment or a non-gratuitous bailment. Okay, in a non-gratuitous bailment, bailor has a duty to inform whatever he know of. That means A is transferring goods to B. Suppose the A is transferring a horse to B. A must inform everything about the horse which he knows, if it is a gratuitous bailment. Okay, but if it is a non-gratuitous bailment, like A is running a taxi service, A is giving a car as a taxi to B, A must find out before delivering that the goods does not have any problem. If at all anything is there, he must inform. That means it is in case of a non-gratuitous bailment, the bailor has to do an inquiry, find out, and if at all there are defects, he must stay away from delivering the goods, because defective goods will cause trouble to the bailee, and therefore bailor must see to it that he is giving goods which are in good condition, and if at all he has no other option, he must inform all the defects and everything about the goods to the bailee. Okay, so you got it clear that there is a slight difference of level of duty. That means duty to disclose whatever he knows in case of gratuitous bailment, duty to disclose everything, find out everything and disclose in case of a non-gratuitous bailment. Okay. Now, duty to bear expenses. If at all bailee has suffered some expenditure on the goods which he is not supposed to, bailor must bear the expenditure. That means bailor must reimburse later whatever expenditure bailee has incurred on the goods. The first example I told you, A delivered a horse to B, and things which A didn't know about the horse, or maybe later the horse developed some problem, some sickness and B had to take the horse to a veterinary doctor and give him some treatment, give him some medicine. In all these things, whatever expenditure B has incurred, A must reimburse. Is that clear? Okay, let's see. Now the third point, duty to indemnify. I told you there is a duty to bear expenses. Now duty to indemnify is a larger dimension. That means if the bailee suffers any particular loss due to the bailment or due to the defective nature of the goods which are bailed, that particular loss of bailee must be indemnified by the bailor. Okay. Duty to receive back the goods. We have seen in the earlier video that a bailment is a temporary transfer of possession. There is no permanent possession, and therefore bailor must return the goods once the bailment is over. Next one, duty to bear the risk of loss. Without the negligence of the bailee, if at all something happens to the goods are destroyed or goods suffer from any other damage. Remember, without the negligence of the bailee, that kind of loss, that kind of risk of loss must be suffered by the bailor. Okay, so here what is important? That bailee should be careful, and in spite of being reasonably careful, if at all there is a loss, that loss belongs to the bailor. Okay. Yeah. Now next we are going to talk about rights of bailor. The first duty of the bailor was to disclose whatever defect the goods have. Okay. Now, the first right of the bailor is right to claim damages in case bailee is not taking care. Okay. I told you bailee has a duty to take reasonable care. A reasonable care is that amount of care which a prudent man of average intelligence in that particular situation would have taken. Okay, so if bailee is not taking that reasonable care, and because of which something happened, goods destroyed or goods partially destroyed or some defect occurred to the goods, in such cases the bailor has a right to claim damages. Okay, now see, in such cases, the bailor gets another right. He can terminate the contract because the bailee is not taking care. Bailor can terminate the contract. Okay. Now, next one, again I am talking about right to claim compensation. You may ask, it is the same thing, no? Right to claim damages? No, slightly different. In another video, I have explained this point. There is a slight difference between right to claim damages and right to claim compensation. Actually, compensation is a wider term. That means compensation will include other expenses also. Damages means whatever injury the goods suffered or the person suffered, that particular loss you will be claiming in terms of monetary compensation. Okay, but when you say right to claim compensation, there are other related expenditure. Because of that destruction or because of that injury, you might have suffered some mental agony, some stress, some tension, some uncertainty, which in turn resulted in other kind of expenditure. So all of them also you can claim when you are claiming right to compensation. Okay, when you have a right to compensation. That means, so right to compensation and right to damages are also will be depending upon what kind of contract you have entered into. If it is gratuitous bailment, your right to damages will be limited because the other party is not charging you. But if it is a non-gratuitous bailment, right to compensation will be more because that person is charging you, and he has his degree of care which he must take is also slightly high, and therefore right to compensation is also more clear. Okay, so right to compensation means the other related expenditure which occurred due to the lack of care of the bailee. Okay, not only that specific injury but other related expenditure. Now, see, this right to claim damages and right to claim compensation generally occurs when the bailee is not taking care or bailee is making an unauthorized use of the goods, or bailee is doing an unauthorized mixture of the goods. I'll give you an example. A has given his car for servicing. Okay. So after servicing, the B, to whom A has given it for servicing, must return the car. But instead of returning, B took the car for a trip to Lonavala. Is this fair? No. Why does this? This is unauthorized use of goods bailed. Okay. A can claim compensation. Okay. Now, A can terminate the contract when he comes to know that there is an unauthorized use. Okay. So, it is not only lack of care, but this is unauthorized use of the goods bailed. Okay. Now, there is another possibility. A has given a dress material for stitching, and instead of stitching that dress for A, B has cut into parts and some part he has used for himself. Okay, and he has stitched it with his own material. This is unauthorized mixing of goods. Okay, so in case if the bailor comes to know there is an unauthorized mixture of goods, bailor can claim separation of goods. Okay, but there are certain cases where separation is not possible because the goods have become a part of the mixture. Like I told you, a part of the dress is stitched with another dress. Now the separation is not possible, and even if there is a separation, it will be worthless. And in such cases, what bailor can do? Bailor can definitely demand return of goods. No doubt he can terminate the contract, he can demand return of goods, and if at all the goods are not in a position to be returned, he can claim compensation as well. Okay, so right to claim compensation extends to all these circumstances. Okay, now what is this? Right to demand accretion. Accretion of goods. Say for example, A delivered a female dog to B. A went for a tour and came back after 6 months. By then, the female dog delivered puppies. So puppies are accretion of the goods, and therefore bailor has a right to claim the female dog along with the puppies. A bailor has a right to claim accretion. Okay. Now, right to sue the wrongdoer. This is a special right. You can see maybe very rarely, because bailor has a right to sue the third party. In another video, we have discussed about privity of contract. Remember, in privity of contract, it says only parties to the contract can file a suit against another party, and a third party cannot file a suit. Okay, that is privity of contract, because your right to file a suit is limited within the contracting parties. Okay, now this is an exception because a contract between bailor and bailee. But in spite of it, goods are delivered to the bailee and bailee's possession is obstructed by the wrongdoing of a third party. Okay, bailor has a right to sue against the third party even though he has no contract with the third party. Say for example, A delivered goods to B. B was a debtor to C, and since B could not pay back the money, C has attached entire property of B including B's property. B can file a suit against C to recover the goods. Okay, because the action of C is disturbing the contract of bailment between A and B. Got the point? Okay, so the bailor can sue the third party in case of his action obstructing or disturbing or violating the contract of bailment between bailor and bailee. Okay, so that's all about duties and rights of bailor. In another video, we'll discuss duties and rights of bailee as well. Till then, bye.